And yes, it is a very good morning. Because what is about to take place in Ayodhya in a few short hours from now is more than just the inauguration of a temple. Temples are being inaugurated all over the world as we speak. It is about a catharsis. It's about a renewal. It's about a revitalization of a nation for too long facing the need for a second independence, facing the need for the freedom of the mind. So yes, in a very quintessential Indian style, this is going to be loud, it's going to be boisterous, there are going to be street parties and a lot of people enthusiastic, because sometimes sitting in our living rooms and studios like this, we forget that articles of faith, articles of belief that have been going on for millennia provide comfort, solace, purpose and energy to so many at the core of their values. And this is what it represents, a catharsis for Indian values. We are here to celebrate the inauguration of a temple. We are also here to celebrate the final end of a property dispute within the family to the benefit of the entire family. And I can't tell you how fundamentally important that is. Now, let's get through the basics first. Ladies and gentlemen, so 12:20 is when the Pran Pratishtha takes place. And for those of you curious on what the Pran Pratishtha is, it's the living embodiment of the deity which is being consecrated into the sanctum sanctorum of the temple in the belief that we follow in Hindu faith, that the murti itself comes to life, that it comes from an article of stone into an article of piety. So that's what the Pran Pratishtha is about. Now, simultaneously, I'm told about 2,000 quintals of flowers have been brought in. The entire place all night has been decked up in lights. There have been statues put ups and Venas put ups. There are 100 such performances that you're seeing on your screens going on in Ayodhya with 2,500 artists. At about 10 a.m., they're going to start the Veena with 50 artists playing 50 different instruments for the course of 2 hours. That Veena will go on for about 2 hours. The ceremony itself is brief. It's going to be only a couple of hours. And a lot of excitement, of course, is on that after the VIPs leave, the temple itself gets opened to the public, which to some small measure could happen this afternoon, but officially, of course, is taking place on the 26th. People who are unable to make it to Ayodhya, remember, entry to Ayodhya is restricted at this point of time, are being asked to celebrate in situ where they are. Let me open this up this morning. Joining us on the broadcast is Akshit, my colleague, who's at the Lata Mangeshkar Chowk in Ayodhya. Major General Sudhakar ji joining us this morning. Group Captain V.N. Jha with us. Sumit is also joining us this morning. Good morning to all of you. Gentlemen, let me quickly take the opportunity of just starting the telecast from the ground. Akshit, good morning. How's it going? I can already see the celebrations have already started in the 100-odd stages that are telling the story of the Ramayana as we speak.
Yes, Rishabh, it's the historic moment which is going to be scripted today in Ayodhya. And of course, if I just show you the glimpse as to how it looks today, then of course it looks more magical today. In the morning, it's a chilly winter, it's a chilly day, but still people, devotees on the streets, and they are carrying that devotion, that spirituality with them, because the consecration of Ram idol is going to take place today, the Pran Pratishtha ceremony, which many have been waiting for, years, is going to take place today. So let's, straight away talk to some people as to how they feel. Ma'am, आप कहाँ से आए हैं?
गोरखपुर।
गोरखपुर से आए हैं। कैसा लग रहा है आज मंदिर खुलने वाला है फाइनली?
बहुत ज़्यादा हम लोग तो खैर अपनी लोक कला का प्रदर्शन करने के लिए आए हैं और आज हम लोग बहुत ही ज़्यादा खुश हैं कि आज जो हमारे श्री राम लल्ला अपने स्थान पे विराजमान होने वाले हैं। हर मतलब भारतवासी के लिए आज से बड़ा कोई पर्व है ही नहीं। आज करें हर दिन दिवाली, हर रात दिवाली और होली वाला नज़ारा और पूरी अयोध्या दुल्हन की तरह सजी है और इतने खुश हैं सब। आप ये देखिए ना नज़ारे, मतलब कह रहे स्वर्ग की प्राप्ति के बाद जो इस नज़ारे का साक्षी बन रहा है, अपने आप में उनका जीवन सफल हो गया है। जय श्री राम।
मैम आप भी गोरखपुर से हैं
जी,
क्या कहना चाहेंगे आज?
बहुत अच्छा लगल आज आके यहाँ जखन हमन के और हमन के मैम हमन के लिए कैलिन है
ट्राइबल्स वनटांगिया कम्युनिटी से हैं, हमारे सीएम जी ने अडॉप्ट कर रखा है योगी आदित्यनाथ जी ने, और आज हम लोग वनटांगिया डांस नहीं यहाँ पे दिखाएंगे।
स्पेशल डांस आप लोग परफॉर्म कर रहे
स्पेशल डांस, स्पेशल वनटांगिया नृत्य होता है वो दिखाएंगे आज हम लोग यहाँ पे।
हैं, वो राम टेम्पल के अंदर ही परफॉर्म करेंगे?
हाँ या
So of course, you heard them. They are going to perform that special dance inside the premises of Ram Temple, and they all are very buoyant that finally it's the D-Day. The history is going to unfold today. Because as we know, as per the schedule, the Pran Pratishtha ceremony is going.
Yeah.
To
Okay. So Akshay, why don't you show us around? I love you can. Why don't you point out things, pan the camera around, show us what's happening around you. You know, we of course there are going to be thousands of people to speak to, and we hope to speak to them through the course of the day. But let's absorb the moment. I can see the road leading up to the Ram Temple behind you. We saw the Veena at the Lata Mangeshkar Chowk. How far are you from the temple itself?
Well, yes, we are approximately 800 meters far away from the temple, and there, of course, you can see, this is the Surya Path, and these shining pillars of Surya, which represents and depicts the Surya Kund have been placed here on the Surya Path. Approximately 40 pillars have been placed because there is a popular belief that Lord Rama was a Suryavanshi, and for that very reason, to depict the religious significance, this Surya Path has been created over here. And if we just try to give you a sense as to how it looks today, then there is a whole tree also which has been lightened up, and it has also added to the charm of this landmark, the Lata Mangeshkar Chowk, which has become one of the hotspots here. So of course you can see how amid the cacophony of bhajans, people are quite buoyant. Well, I was pointing out that the Pran Pratishtha ceremony is going to begin at 12:20 p.m. and it will culminate at 1 p.m. Of course, the Prime Minister is presiding.
Yeah, just show us around. I can see lovely statues that have been brought up. Some lot of flowers have been put in. I can see this huge Veena that, of course, you guys have been reporting right at the base of it for the past few days.
Well, yes, many sculptures have been sculpted for this day. There also you can see many sculptures are there, and perhaps these pillars also depicting the Surya Kund have been placed over there. And when we talk about the Veena also, there of course you can see the Veena, 40 feet Veena, and it weighs almost 15 tons. It's to honor the works of late melody icon Lata Mangeshkar, because her works have also been prominently related to Ramcharitmanas. So for that very reason, this Lata Mangeshkar Chowk has been created to honor her works. And at every place you can see cutouts like this of Lord Ram in his 5-year-old form, to actually add to the charm of the holy city Ayodhya. As we know, the idol of Lord Ram has also been carved out in a form of 5-year-old boy. So for that reason, these cutouts have been placed all over the city, and people are feeling they have that sense of religiousness today, and many say that they have that sense of fulfillment today, because after a century of battle, court hearings, the D-Day is finally here today.
Yeah, okay. So now what's the plan for the rest of the day? I'm told the CM, of course, arrived yesterday. The dignitaries, a lot of them who are attending, have already arrived last evening. The Prime Minister, of course, arrives at about, I think, just past 10 in the morning. At the same time, what's the restrictions in Ayodhya now? Is the city open? Can people travel? When will they be able to travel from? Do we know when the temple will actually open, where you can register for darshan or queue up?
Talk about what's in the fray today. I will keep showing you the visuals right there, and then there you can see you talked about the restrictions. So security has been beefed up, keeping in mind that there is going to be a lot of VVIP movement, and also what we are learning is that that personnel from different forces, approximately 13,000 personnel, are there on the ground, and they have converted the whole holy city Ayodhya into a fortress, ahead of the mega Pran Pratishtha ceremony. And there you can see, Jai Shri Ram is also written everywhere, and the whole city has been bedecked with flowers. And very very special thing here, these stages, the government has set up 100 stages like this, depicting the culture of India, and you can here see how they are playing whole. Of course, very jubilant atmosphere here, and at every place. How government has set up these stages depicting.
Okay, Akshit, every time you seem to move around, your camera person loses his signal. You need to have a conversation with him. It's going to be a long day otherwise if this keeps happening. What you're seeing, ladies and gentlemen, and let's take it one by one. Pia, help us out. This confabulation of this three-window mess that we've created actually helps us put perspective to nothing that's happening. What is obvious on the left side of your screen, and we'll get those visuals up for you. I think I just saw the Golden Gate Bridge. Now, I've been told from the visuals, we'll put up those visuals on your screens so that we can educate ourselves with what's happening across the world. Who's there in PCR? Can you just put it up one by one, please? I'll be grateful. It's a matter of pressing a few buttons. Yeah, no, let's do it one by one, please. It's a matter of pressing a few buttons. Makes life a lot easier. There we go, okay? So this is a convoy of hundreds of cars, okay? Which has been moving through California, and that obviously is the Golden Gate Bridge. And you can see, look at the number of cars. They're all gathering together to watch the Pran Pratishtha. Remember, it's going to be happening in the wee hours of the morning if you're on the west coast of the United States. And you can see, the convoy there celebrating Lord Ram crossing the Golden Gate Bridge. It's not just there. Let's hop across to Taiwan. Another set of visuals that have come in over the course of the past few hours, where more people are gathering. Let's keep following me, see, please. So let's get the visuals of Taiwan on air. There you go, okay? The celebrations going on that are happening with the puja that has begun there. That's in Taiwan. I've seen more visuals coming in from Mauritius and Australia and literally all over the world, where this is now being marked. I'm told a ceremony is going to be happening in terms of a telecast in Times Square as well. Let's open up this telecast in the morning. As I mentioned, General Sudhakar is with us, Sumit Peer with us, Group Captain Jha with us. General Sudhakar, now it's an important moment in the larger scheme of things. How do we this once in a history moment, sir?
Rishabh, good morning. Thank you for getting me to your show on a very important milestone day in the history of India, independent India, I would say. And before I say anything, let me just put it on record. Compliments to NewsX, because since past 3 days, I have been browsing a lot of national mainstream as also international channels. NewsX is the only channel which has covered the narrative of the influence of the Sanatan Dharma or the Ramayana wide across the world. So what we celebrate today in Ayodhya is actually not a kind of an indigenous concept. To me, it is a universal concept which has got application and relevance for every citizen in this universe. It is a matter of interpretation. It is a matter of time. As we delve into the details, things will start unfolding. And compliments to NewsX and under your leadership, Rishabh, it's a profound job. And as a military man, I would say you have done more than half the job of military vertical. against our adversary. You have given a very strong and loud message that if they have been relying on history to claim or reclaim their the area of jurisdiction and practice expansionism, here is not a tool, here is a reality that our history of influence goes beyond the comprehension and the imagination of a human mind. Last but not the least, Rishabh, let me compliment once again to you and the people of India for a historic day as this. So gone are the days, 550 years approximately back, when the temple of the Ayodhya was decimated, was destroyed by none other than Baba, and a masjid was constructed over there. Actually, it takes us back that there is much more than what actually meets the eye. What is that much more? Much more is that India today, 76th year of independence, we have been able to reclaim the identity of an Indian person or Indian citizen. That actually gives us a tremendous amount of soft power that further takes me to a terminology which is used by every military and a strategic or a geopolitician is known as comprehensive national power.
It's just about, like I said, some of these conversations have for too long been very difficult conversations. They've been difficult conversations because, like I said, and I've said it repeatedly, you've required the need for a second independence of the mind. That you were convinced, and there are still people about who would like to convince you that this country can't live together, it can't fess up to the issues of the past to build a new future. Yes, we can. It is a truism to say that the temples of the north of India were all destroyed. So it's about fessing up. Yeah, this happened, and this is what we're now doing about it. We don't have to, we for sure have to celebrate the temple that has been consecrated there. And at the same time, let's take the opportunity to build a grand mosque in Ayodhya. And we've had those conversations as well. So let me now get Group Captain Jha. Group Captain Jha, it is a moment of poignancy. Like I said, it's obviously a boisterous party as well. There's a celebration as well. There's a lot of energy on the ground. But then there is a somber poignancy. I often say that when a Punarjagaran takes place, classical revivalism, in Europe they called it the Renaissance. Here the architecture, the sculpture, the art, the mythology, the stories, they're all coming back, and oftentimes that leads to scientific endeavor, as we saw in the Renaissance in Europe, and you create a different kind of a world, a different kind of society. How do you see this playing out, sir, as a poignant moment in Indian history?
Rishabh, very good morning to you, and Jai Shri Ram to you as well as all your viewers. May God help us withstand the adversities of the times, of the thought, of the morality that our nation is going through, or rather the world is going through. When we are talking of this temple, Ayodhya temple, it is not a temple in isolation. It is not just a temple, but it's the origin of a faith in which we all believe. Remember, our beliefs are not in an individual. It is not monotheistic. It is polytheistic, in which we understand that the power in the universe, which is driving the entire cosmos, and humanity is part of it, has got a large approach, very, very large approach in different times. We believe that there are 10 avatars of Lord Vishnu, out of which one was Lord Rama, after which even Lord Krishna was born in the Krishna Janmabhoomi in Mathura. So these are the revered sites, revered places of the faith, tremendous faith of the humanity in India. Those days, India was not just within the small boundaries. India was huge. We are talking of Lord Rama in somewhere about 6,000 to 8,000 years back. So those were the days when India was endless. There, the entire humanity, they had faith in Lord Rama as an incarnation of Lord Vishnu. And that particular sacrosanct place called Ayodhya was destroyed by people आक्रांता जो बाद में आए उन्होंने they had destroyed the entire thing, and over a period the history of India is somehow under distortion for various reasons.
But Group Captain
and
Jha, like I said, things like destruction of temples, we know what happened to the Temple of Solomon. We know what happened to the Temple of Zeus. So you can go across the world and find the same things that happened. In fact, the entire Vatican is built on the ruins and the repurposed marble columns of the pagan temples of the Roman past. The issue that we've had is being unable to just deal with it. That these things happen. Yes, it's part of the historical process. It's not alienable that it only happened in India. Yes, it happened all over the world. But as a country, we need to have a catharsis. We need to have a healing touch and move on. Why was it so difficult for so long, sir?
I'll tell you, Rishabh, about 3.5 years, 4 years back, I had written a story called Ayodhyas of the World. It is not Ayodhya in isolation. Ayodhya temple was destroyed. Lot many temples have been destroyed. In the Arabian Peninsula itself, there were river temples which were destroyed. Entire Parsi, the entire faith was abolished. Their temples destroyed, desecrated, and those were converted. So India is not in isolation, which has suffered. Hindus are not in isolation, whose revered bodies are destroyed and desecrated. But we must learn a lesson from the history that most of these temples got destroyed because there was an invader who came there, who didn't like the temples, who didn't like other faiths, who didn't like worshipping idols, and his hate was the one which has destroyed all this. But look at India right now. We stand in unison. We are getting back some of those things, but we are still intact. Our faith is something which is still intact, and we believe. Rishabh, I don't know about you, but when I was born in 1953, I have hardly visited a temple for getting, some sort of sermons or vichar or something. No, I have seldom been. But yet, I've got my faith. I've been told right from beginning, Lord Rama, Lord Vishnu, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, the three, the super powers that we believe there are, they have been in our thoughts, in our behind us, supporting us in the time of difficulties, griefs, and many other instances. So those are the powers which are there with us. Despite not going to temple for getting educated, we have been having this power in our thought, in our psyche. So look, what we believe as a Hindu, that humanity is the dharma. What we should do, something what is good for humanity. We used to be scared of killing even a small ant. We were told that even that ant has got a soul.
No, but there's a problem here, okay? And the problem is, honestly, we have to now figure it out, all of us, right? For too long, too many of us have felt that what is by definition traditional Indian is rather embarrassingly boisterous, is rather antiquated, that the charm is to be found elsewhere. I can't explain to you how it becomes psychological. That you feel embarrassed of your own culture, you feel embarrassed of your own faith. You feel embarrassed of who you are, right? You are who we are. So when there's a cricket match, we stand on the chairs and we jump up and down and shout and scream, okay? We don't have to be embarrassed about it. A different culture will have a different way of doing things. A different culture would feel that, no, you want to be more somber and be more quiet, and a polite applause is better than a raucous celebration. Yeah, Indian weddings are loud, Indian ceremonies are loud, the festival of Holi is colorful. But these things happen, in Spain when they are throwing tomatoes at each other, having bullfights, they also do it in their own ways. So I'm hoping for a new generation of global, enterprising, modern, young Indians, and there's 600 million of them, that this rediscovery takes place of the best of it. You're seeing it happen in Indian food. You've seen it happen in yoga. You're seeing it happen in Indian textiles. Through moments like this, you can see this happen in Indian architecture, in sculpture. Just think of between the building of the parliament and the building of these temples, how many of these sculptures have been built, and therefore how many really talented artists and sculptors have been given an opportunity at building new things. Let me get Sumit into this. Sumit, so we have to address now because the larger reunification of a family that takes place. So let's take it head on the best that we can. What have we just achieved here? Because a lot of people feel no, that this is just a Hindu party. This is Hindu chauvinism. It's something actually to be a bit concerned about if it gets too boisterous.
Well, Rishabh ji, Jai Siya Ram. It's a day to celebrate because this is the point of cultural renaissance. It's a point wherein the civilization changes course. It's a point wherein the civilization reconciles to a fact. It's a point where the civilization gets together and moves to the next part. It's a moment of pride wherein our people, all Sanatanis, I mean, when I say Sanatani, I can be even a Muslim, because by culture he is a Hindu, can be a Christian, by culture he is a Sanatani. When all Sanatanis have shown to the world that there was a historical wrong done, it was undone, it happened, it will pass beautifully, it will pass with consensus, it will pass without a drop of blood spilled anywhere, it will pass with the, law and the faith. So Bharat has got its identity. The Hindu can identify it with Ram temple, the Muslim can identify, the Christian can identify, because when Bhagwan Shri Ram was there, Rishabh ji, at that time there was no Christianity, there was no Islam. Everybody by default was a Hindu. So Bharyada Purushottam Bhagwan Shri Ram is the Purvaj of anybody. So when he is getting back what is due, and there was somebody who came from Uzbekistan on a horse called Babar, and this man destroyed what belonged to Bharat, what belonged to India. So when Bharat got independent after 75 years and after a lot of work and after a lot of will of Prime Minister Modi and his, and his cadre of ministers and BJP, VHP and all these people, finally with due course of law, after 135 years in the court and 550 years of long fight, you have got what an invader and a terrorist destroyed. So when you got back, everybody reconciled to the fact, look, this is the reality, this should have been done, this is done, and we are all celebrating it. That is the greatness of our culture. Look, people from 55 countries, river, sand and water from 155 places, 10,000 people, biggest TV broadcast, they're pictures of Indians celebrating from all the nooks and corners from the world, Ukraine, Chile, America, everywhere. Wherever there's an Indian diaspora, they are all celebrating. I have not seen, Rishabh ji, a more unifying factor or a point in the Sanatan Dharma than Bhagwan Shri Ram temple, where we are cutting across all demographics, where we are cutting against the division of age, color, race, linguistic, and getting together. And from north to south and from, any part of the world to every part of the world, there is one thing which is common to the Jai Jai Shri Ram. This is the renaissance. And there is not even a stone pelted or a drop of blood spilled. That is the greatness of our culture. That is how India has shown to the world. We can move on. We can take tough decisions.
No, but like I said, Sumit, there is a complexity to it, right? So, in terms of a re-articulation, and I mentioned 600 million now Indians under the age of 30, and they belong to all faiths. There'll be Hindus, there'll be Muslims, there'll be Jain, there'll be Buddhists, there'll be Sikhs, there'll be Christians. What is then the rediscovery of this? I've not had the privilege, of course, to go to Makkah, Medina, but I've been to Al-Aqsa, I've been to the Wailing Wall, I've been to St. Peter's, I've seen the Sistine Chapel. When you walk into St. Peter's Basilica, not only is, on the right you see the statue, it's called the Pieta, okay, it's made by Michelangelo. And it's the Mother Mary holding the body of Christ in her arms. It's a very moving statue, okay? You don't have to be a Christian to feel a mother who's son has just died and she's holding him in her arms. Yeah, similarly, you don't have to be Catholic to look at the Sistine Chapel, okay, and you look up and it's beautifully done, okay, it's well done. So for Sumit, like I said, it's going to be a boisterous street party, okay, and there are many people who are going to look at this boisterous street party and they're going to say, look, revivalism is one thing, but there is a danger that this becomes chauvinism and that this actually becomes something problematic. What is actually happening? Is there a basis for understanding of people getting the concept of what catharsis is? That a major issue has been now solved. It has been moved on. That's actually good for everyone, not a problem for everyone.
Rishabhji, can't agree more with you because I have been to Vatican, never been to Makkah because non-Muslims are not allowed there. But when you talk of the Bhagwan Sri Ram temple, anybody from every faith to any faith is welcome there. Ayodhya is the third pole of geopolitics. Ayodhya ji is what Hindus, around 18 to 20% of the global population, need their stump or need their stamp on the geopolitics of the world and on Mother Earth. So this will be our answer to Mecca. This will be our answer to Vatican because that is what Hindus needed. And this is open to all. This is anybody can come and everybody can see. The way we are connecting the youth, for youth, we have seen we have moved on a big issue. There were these things told, Mandir wahi batayenge, date nahi, but Mandir wahi banayenge, date nahi batayenge. This is all a chunavi mudda. This is all for polarization. All no. This has moved on. We have solved issues. We collectively came together, and being a 85% Hindu majority country, still you went by the rule of the law. You waited for 550 years. You could have got an audience. You could have built it whichever way you want. No, you prevailed. This example is not anywhere in the world. How beautifully we have done it. And this is a thing which all Sanatani across the globe should be proud of because the way we are building it, the way we are doing it. Now, where is that thing which is Hindu? Where is that thing which is Sanatani? Where is that thing when I invite somebody from a Chile or a Mexico and I'll come and understand what Sanatan Dharma is all about, what the oldest civilization of the world is all about? That is going to be Sri Ayodhya ji. So it is not about the Ram temple. It is about the Sti. It is about the Gandior. It's about the ring roads, 108 lakes, resorts, those hotels, those airports, the railway station, live Ramayana, cultural place, live museums, amphitheaters. It is a living monument of what Sanatan Dharma and what Hindu belief system is all about.
No, but again, so we now need that re-understanding and rediscovery. And I especially point out to young people, okay, who are going to now have to take this forward. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to imagine for just a moment. The Crusades were started in 1090, almost 1,000 years ago. You're seeing the ugliness of it. What's happening in Gaza right now? Where does it stem from? Okay, it stems from 1,000 years of ugliness. Imagine if a generation existed where, with the acceptance that historically important sites often become the centerpiece of major power plays, of major disputes. You have to accept it. A site is historically important, whether that be London or Rome or Moscow or indeed Jerusalem. They become centerpieces. Because if you go to Jerusalem, you have the remains of the Second Temple. The Al-Aqsa Mosque is right next to it. Now, you know the story that the Prophet was born in Makkah. He revealed most of the Quran in Medina. But the story goes that it is from the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem from which he ascended and toured the heavens. Okay? Why the Dome of the Rock? Because 300 meters away, of course, is where you have the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, where the body of Christ was placed. So that's all happening within a few hundred meters of each other. Okay? And for obvious, and forget Islam and Christianity, even within Christianity, between the Russian Orthodox Church and the Greek Orthodox Church and the Protestants and the Catholics, there's a lot of disagreement about those sites, even amongst various Christian sects. So imagine if somebody sorted it all out. I want you to just picture for a moment if the issue of the Dome of the Rock was sorted out and it was done and everybody was welcome and the huge celebration was happening. That's the point of what is taking place in Ayodhya. These are ancient cities. The history of Indian civilization goes back to prehistory. We don't really know it, in fact, and that's the sadness of it. These are ancient sites. They were brought under dispute because they were meant to be brought under dispute. It was a place of piety, a place of riches, just like the church was a power center. It had land, it received revenues, it's an important player. Read of the Knights Templar, a pan-international organization that became so large and powerful that kings had to go and fight it and take it on and take away all their lands and their powers. Okay, and so historically important religious places often are turned into sites of political, geopolitical, power and religious dispute. Imagine if a generation could start healing them and solving them.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.